Man, myth, legend. The ultimate speed demon, fierce but kind, herald of precision driving and a true inspiration for many generations of racers and enthusiasts alike. One name, Ayrton Senna. 2024 marks 30 years from that dreadful accident that claimed his life at Imola in 1994, and so for this occasion, the MAUTO, the National Automotive Museum of Torino, has decided to dedicate and promote an expo featuring all of his brilliant achievements, to celebrate his success as a man and as a racing driver that rose from rags to riches, onboarding lots of fans to the sport. Let's start with a presentation of the MAUTO. After the full tour of the previous 4 museums by Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Lamborghini and Pagani, we are here today exploring the best automotive museum in the world and what it has to offer. A bold statement, I know, also mentioned in the New York Times and totally unbiased considering we're in my hometown. Unbeknownst to many, this museum is a symbol of Torino's deep connection with the automotive industry. It showcases technological innovations and design excellence that have characterized the sector for an entire century. As a reference, Fiat Cars was founded here in 1899, together with the famous rooftop test track of the Lingotto factory. Fiat created the conditions for the growth and establishment of a comprehensive industrial complex, inclusive of many great coach builders and brands like Pininfarina, Bertone, Ghia, Giugiaro, Vignale and Zagato, just to name a few. Even Sparco still has its headquarters here in Torino, proof of a legacy deeply radicated into the community as a whole. The museum is situated on a very busy avenue near the main river Po. Inside, we're welcomed by a stark and minimalistic open space introducing the main theme of this expo, Senna's racing heritage. Stunning to see this 1991 McLaren MP4-6, designed by Gordon Murray and Steve Nichols. It was a pivotal moment in F1 for McLaren. Powered by a Honda V12 engine, it marked McLaren's continued success in the early 90s and allowed Senna to secure his 3rd World Championship. But let's get on with the museum tour properly, shall we? Beginning at the 1st floor, we start a thorough journey through time and the evolution of the automobile from the late 19th century to contemporary models and everything in between. It's actually quite astonishing to find the first self-propelled steam-powered vehicle. Intriguing to see the vision and the engineering feats during that period, with a wide plethora of applications when it comes to horseless carriages. Next is the main Galleria, or Great Garage of the Future, with models from many different brands and makes, including Fiat, Panhard, Darracq, and even American makes like Oldsmobile. The visual impact of this installation is quite mesmerizing, and it's great to see a design progression starting to shape cars into functional vehicles in just a few decades apart. Please notice how well curated and presented every room is. A big round of applause to the museum curator and art director. On this wall, for example, we find a depiction of a vehicle we encountered before. Have you guessed it yet? It's the streamlined teardrop bus from 1913 spotted at the Alfa Romeo Museum last time around. So glad to see it recognized here in Torino as well. This is the Itala car that participated to the first Paris-Beijing rally, covering 16,000 kilometers in just 60 days. An outstanding achievement I'm sure many new cars today would struggle to accomplish. And please notice the obsessive brass work and the attention to detail that coach builders and artisans put in when crafting such harmonious piece of machinery. Interiors, if you want to call them as such, are something I truly envy from that era. Imagine an actual car these days fitted with those comfy, lazy boy chairs. It would sell in an instant. And what about the Art Deco era, with this stunning delage, to then go full Gatsby with this posh, royalty-worthy Itala cruiser? The next room presents all the icons of the entertainment industry of the 20s and 30s, such as Charlie Chaplin, Isadora Duncan, and Greta Garbo, with a reference to the shift from mute, silent era to films with sound. Stunning to see this Rolls-Royce in the early version of the Spirit of Ecstasy, followed by a similar looking one by Isotta Fraschini, proof that automotive design really goes decade by decade. We delve deep into the 30s with this monumental Mercedes-Benz, scary in gloss black and the iconic exhaust headers. And then a bit of a surprise just beside it with a 1936 Buick Special.
È in questi anni che vengono progettati e realizzati i primi modelli di utilitarie, pensati per essere robusti, economici e prodotti in serie. Tra i primi, l'inglese Austin.
After World War II, it's now time to celebrate the economic boom and the financial reprise with a blooming period of true marvels of engineering and artistic expression that was second to none. The sensual lines of this Cisitalia that we spotted at the Miglia last month are something worth drooling over. And what about this groundbreaking Fiat prototype sporting a jet engine that will never see the light of production? Lucky for us. Again, please spend a few moments noticing the effort put into showcasing these cars and the really neat installations behind them. La Dolce Vita, or Bella Vita, beautiful life, is the best social phenomenon that could have happened to Italy. A period distinguished by its vibrant celebration of life, culture and cinema, the glamour of the 50s and 60s, the rise of iconic fashions and film, and a renewed sense of Italian identity. At the same time, we see the rise of the American automotive industry and the golden era of American classic cars. These vehicles are the very reason I started my other media outlet, Muscle Cars Universe, to really explore the stories, the ideas, the sheer abundance of wealth, the entrepreneurship that distinguish the Americans from the rest of the world, having even the Japanese to copy from their designs. As an 80s kid, I truly appreciated the recreation of the Berlin Wall period with Checkpoint Charlie here, and a reminder that Russians were also making cars like this 1957 Gaz. We're now entering my favorite room of the whole museum, and you may wonder why. This is an exact scaled representation map of the most significant companies, workshops and key players that began engaging in automotive-related businesses in Torino since the early century. Many great names stand out in this bird's-eye view of the city, including Vignale, Pininfarina, Lancia, Nardi, Cisitalia, Bertone, and so on. The highest concentration of raw talent and craftsmanship you'll ever see in one single place. Period. We're now descending into the lower floor of the museum, where I can already spot one of my all-time favorite cars, the Lamborghini Murcielago SV. Another real beauty here, the Pagani Alizea, conceived by the European Institute of Design, IED, here in Torino and fully endorsed by Horacio Pagani himself as a clear representation of the future endeavors of Pagani Automobili. And what better way to conclude the Supercars corner with the Lamborghini Diablo 30th Anniversary Edition, here finished in a funky metallic purple with blue suede interiors. Another space worth mentioning is the Mille Miglia feature room, with the most amazing collection of man cave-worthy posters of the time, all authentic from each edition of that specific year. We also find another stunning Cisitalia finished in metallic grey, and this terrific Lancia, which resembles some of the most known Ferrari and Maserati from back then. A really cool map dispenses statistics and numbers regrouped in very intuitive pie charts with parameters like makes, placements, top speeds and so forth. Definitely a must visit for the sheer amount of historic relevance and the educational value given. Continuing on the educational side of things, you can smell the oil stains in the air entering the engineering display room, delving into how cars evolved from a technological standpoint. Here we can see and admire various aspects of engine architectures throughout the years. The study on chassis, frames and road grip in general, continuing on the evolution of the wheel, radiators and so forth. The value proposition again is outstanding and worth every step of the tour. And now something really exceptional, the Race Legends Room. We're welcomed by one of the most iconic 1993 Alfa Romeo 155 Ti V6, the untamed beast that dominated the DTM and made a real name for itself on the world stage. That screaming V6 is a piece of engineering art and a testament to what Alfa Romeo was capable of. We then glaze our eyes on one of the most visually impacting installations of the whole museum, the Racing Grid, comprising of all the new glorious race cars from Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Lancia and Maserati. Even though they're still, it surely seems faster than ever thanks to the game of lights and projections. A remarkable collection that signifies more than just race wins. The ultimate pedigree of Italian automotive passion and racing tradition is in full display here. On the other side of the room, we see 4 different installations with specific themes placed in chronological order. We start from the 1930 Alfa Romeo P2 driven by Varzi and Nuvolari, the 1954 Mercedes-Benz W196R Silver Arrow, the 1980 Ferrari 312 T5 driven by Antonio Giacobazzi, and the Ferrari F2005 driven by Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. All together creating a striking timeline of great victories, symbolizing the evolution of racing from the early days until now. To reward your patience for watching till the end of this video, it's now time to venture into the actual reason of why we're here at MAUTO in Torino. The Ayrton Senna Expo at last, dedicated to arguably the most influential man that's ever existed in motorsport. He changed everything with his precision driving, unmistakable attitude and empathy even with his rivals like Alain Prost and Nigel Mansell.
Pouco tempo, só dá pra sentir o que é chegar pra mim. Rapaz, parece que tive algumas toneladas de peso em cima da minha cabeça, em cima dos meus ombros. E não deu ainda pra realizar o que eu tô.
We start the tour at the ground floor with the Lamborghini V12 engine built during the era of Chrysler's ownership in the 90s. Moving to the first vehicle in chronological order in the history of Senna. His personal kart, yes, dating all the way back to 1978. Next are the 3 cars that gave him the foundation to become a professional F1 driver. The 1981 and 1982 Van Diemen RF, powered by a Ford engine which he drove in the British Formula Ford 2000 Championship, scoring multiple victories and a win as a rookie. Then the 1983 Ralt RT3 F3, seeing him stepping into the British Formula 3 Championship that got him the title that year. Moving on, the time is ripe for Senna to finally start competing in F1, and he does it with the Toleman team, driving the 1984 TG184 Hart, with the unmistakable white and blue racing livery. Despite limited resources, Senna showcased amazing talent, especially in the soaking wet Monaco Grand Prix, finishing second. The same year, Mercedes-Benz decides to do a marketing stunt with the Nürburgring Race of Champions, a one-day event where Senna excelled by winning the race in a leveled playing field, beating Niki Lauda, Alain Prost and Stirling Moss with this 1984 190E. 1985 is the time for a really special car, the Lotus John Player Special 97 T2, a pivotal car in his career. Powered by a Renault turbo engine and featuring fresh aerodynamics, cemented his skills when driving in wet conditions. That gold and black combo just doesn't get old and quickly became iconic in everyone's minds. I want to take a little break emphasizing the attention to detail when it comes to relics and memorabilia that we find here at the Senna Expo. The sheer amount of personal effects, gloves, helmets, steering wheels, trophies and magazines really show just how valuable and iconic Senna already was during his career, and the huge affection and interest he gathered from F1 lovers and fans alike. A very neat collage of pictures is also in full display, not to mention the priceless original collection of all his racing suits, from the early karting days all the way to that cursed year of 1994, with everything in between and every team he ever raced for. Continuing on the general presentation of this expo, I found quite moving to read Senna's quotes printed on the walls, another confirmation of his profound character and spiritual energy that unified people all around the world under one flag. Moreover, the presentation of the helmets collection is quite brilliant and masterfully executed, with a game of reflections and perfect lighting that creates depth. We can only imagine the stories these helmets would tell if they could speak. Back to the cars, we continue with this absolutely stunning yellow beauty, the 1987 Lotus Honda 99 T4 Camel. It featured the Honda V6 turbo engine, granting him the winning in Detroit, Portugal, and the prestigious Monaco Grand Prix. The year after sees the beginning of Senna's involvement with McLaren in F1 with this 1988 MP4-4. Powered by a Honda 1.5-litre turbo V6 engine and winning 15 out of 16 races that season. Ayrton Senna was then able to secure his first World Championship title. After that, it's time for the well-known 1992 McLaren MP4-7. Powered by a Honda V12 engine this time, marking another competitive F1 season for Senna, securing 3 victories and the second overall placement in the Drivers' Championship. That's when we get to that cursed 1994 season with the Williams FW16, powered by a Renault V10 engine and also designed by Adrian Newey. It featured advanced aerodynamics and a refined chassis, although had technical challenges like reliability and electronic system issues. Senna struggled with it throughout the whole season until the race at Imola, where a critical failure led to the fatal crash on May 1st, 1994. Senna's death highlighted the need for better safety measures in F1 and paved the way for many improvements we know to this day. We're closing the tour now with this unique 1997 Ducati 916 Senna edition that was issued as a tribute to his achievements and career marked by speed and precision driving, like Ducati wants to be. A man with purpose and a clear mission to clock the fastest laps and beat all of his opponents. Ayrton Senna will go down as the greatest of all time, forever in our hearts. Adeus, Campeão. And that's all for today. This was the full tour of the MAUTO here in Torino and the brilliant Senna Expo. Make sure to watch the other 4 complete museum tours I posted here on my channel. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more racing content, only here on Race Cars Universe.